And it has been quite a road to get here. Remember, you, the people, voted on this a few weeks ago at WFAN.com/draft, and then there was a panel. We still don't know who was on the panel of dignitaries, but between the people's votes and the dignitaries' votes, that's how we formed the top 20. Before we unveil the final 4 guys, let me remind you, number 20 was Phil Simms. Number 19 was Don Mattingly. Number 18 was Tiki Barber. Number 17 was David Wright. Number 16, Brian Leach. Number 15, Clark Gillies. Number 14, Darryl Strawberry. Number 13, Doc Gooden. Number 12, Mike Bossy. Number 11, Brian Trottier. Number 10, Henrik Lundqvist. Number 9, Martin Brodeur. Number 8, Lil Swerve, Roger Clemens, drafted by the New York Mets. Number 7, Michael Strahan. Number 6, Joe Klecko.
Terrible.
Number 5, Darrelle Revis. Ladies and gentlemen, number 4.
Number 4, with the first pick in the first round of the 2004 NFL Draft, the New York Giants have acquired the pick belonging to Eli Manning, Mississippi.
Manning out of the shotgun set, and he's back to throw. Climbs the pocket, deep ball down the left sideline, and it's going to be caught. Was he inbounds? Yes! Manningham on the sideline. The officials say he got his feet in at the Patriot at midfield.
Wow. Whoa. He wasn't drafted by the New York Giants.
This is unique because he was on by proxy. So we know how this trade went down. They didn't actually trade picks. The San Diego Chargers drafted Eli Manning on behalf of the New York Giants, and the Giants, on behalf of the San Diego Padres, drafted Phillip Rivers, and then they flipped.
I mean, come on.
It was draft by proxy.
Yeah, dude, they didn't draft him.
No, dude. Eli Manning stands up there on the podium holding a New York Giants jersey, taking a draft day picture with the number 1. He has the draft day at the podium picture.
No.
He is their draft pick.
That's not entirely true. When he was drafted, in fact, wait a second. I got the evidence.
Go ahead.
Play it.
With the first choice in the 2004 NFL Draft, the San Diego Chargers select Eli Manning, quarterback, Mississippi.
Doesn't matter.
Are we doing a San Diego countdown or are we doing a New York countdown?
By the way, get rid of any NBA pick that was on this list then, because the NBA actually goes forward and having these dopes wear hats.
Well, hold on.
When they do that.
Hold on a second. So far, we haven't had a lot of NBA players on this list. I think we're about to get one if the panel didn't screw up.
I'm just saying.
And there's no caveat to that. Like, look, I love Eli.
We
all
was
respect
drafted
Eli.
by the Giants via proxy.
He wasn't drafted by the Giants.
Everybody knew it. And by the way, I don't remember. Why didn't they just trade the picks?
They were right at the finish line of figuring out the trade.
Because the Chargers wanted to draft Eli Manning.
No.
Yes, Eli Manning and his father pushed them towards we're not going to play. It was a standoff.
Well, so what happened? I don't remember the details of this.
Evan is, for the most part, right.
Thank you.
Archie did not want Eli to play for the Chargers.
Yes.
The Chargers knew that Eli was not going to play for them. Now, he may be right in that the Chargers, we know we're about to trade this pick anyway, but just to make you suffer, you're going to have to sit out there and hear your name called by the Chargers.
Yeah, but what did the Chargers get?
They got the next first-round pick the next year. The Giants had to take Phillip Rivers.
Sean Merriman. They ended up with the pick that became Nate Kading, the kicker. Yep. Thank you for that, by the way.
Yes, all of that. So I forget what else they got. It was a fellow of ours. But
why didn't they just do it and let the Giants make the draft pick?
Because they didn't want to. They wanted Eli Manning. They got pressured into the trade.
And there were fine details that got hammered out in that last time. They was working up until literally the last minute.
More on this in a few minutes. We'll debate this because I think you guys are wrong. But we owe it to the next 3 guys to have their names called in the New York top 20. So, ladies and gentlemen, Eli Manning's number 4. Who's number 3?
Number 3, with the 6th pick in the first round of the 1992 MLB Draft, the New York Yankees select Derek Jeter, Central High School, Kalamazoo, Michigan.
1-2 to Nixon. And Sturt steals, swung on, and popped up. In back of short, Jeter on the run, makes a one-handed running catch, and dives into the photographer's area. Oh, what a play by Jeter. You can't believe it. He raced, he caught it, and to break and boy, did he get beat up. He is beat up and bloody in his face. What a play by Jeter. A running catch, and to break his momentum, he dove into the photographer's area, and he's got a cut-up face as he... What a player. Derek Jeter, what a player. You can't say enough about him. What is he? He's a winner. That's what he is. He's a flat-out winner.
That's one of my favorite calls. Hey, no argument with Derek Jeter. I guess the argument would be, why three?
Why is he 3?
He should be higher.
5-time world champion, the only captain of a team drafted 5 times. Yeah, I'm anxious to see the next 2.
Let's see the next 2, and then we can digest. Let's get to number 2.
Number 2. With the first pick in the first round of the 1985 NBA Draft, the New York Knicks select Patrick Ewing, Georgetown.
Ewing with the pick. Here's Starks. John Starks with the ball. Ewing puts it down. And the Knicks by 1. 26 seconds to go.
You know what that was? That was the game winner in 94. That sent the New York Knicks to the NBA Finals back 30 years ago in 1994. Don't give me that look, because I can see it in Sean's eyes.
Sean?
What, are you going to disrespect the big man?
All I'm saying is baseball's Michael Jordan loses out to a guy who couldn't beat Michael Jordan.
First of all, I mean, that's ridiculous. Derek Jeter is not baseball's Michael Jordan.
In terms of champions era, yes, he is.
It's a hard conversation because you don't want to disparage the captain.
Of course.
At all.
I'm not disparaging the captain, but I'm going to say this as an independent basketball observer, because the one thing I've always been loyal to is defending Patrick Ewing, because I think he was treated horribly by Knicks fans during his time. Whether it's posters being thrown up, whether it's talk on this radio station about him being overrated, Patrick Ewing was a blessing to our city. It was a blessing. And yeah, were the Knicks lucky? Yeah, was the lottery fixed? Who the hell cares? Patrick Ewing defined a generation for the New York Knicks. And while they didn't win an NBA championship, I get that. They're nothing without him. Nothing. I could argue, while the Yankees may not be a dynasty, they were still pretty damn good without Derek Jeter, if Derek Jeter didn't exist.
So if Derek Jeter had never been drafted and there was some replacement player, then the Yankees probably win still a few of those championships.
I think they're still very, very good. I can't say they win every championship.
Sorry,
that's a hard.
If we're making this case for Ewing, it goes back to major flaws throughout the list, including then why isn't Henrik Lundqvist higher than Martin Brodeur?
Oh, stop it, because Marty was better, dude.
Henrik Lundqvist is Patrick Ewing. You're the same guy.
Hold on, Marty Brodeur was better than Henrik Lundqvist.
Derek Jeter was better than Patrick Ewing.
Was he?
Yes.
Was he really?
Yes, he was.
You're comparing it to Patrick Ewing, one of the great big men of all time. You act like he's some
one of the great shortstops of all time.
Okay, great. Good for him. Good for him.
Good for him. When did you become Mr. Nick, by the way?
Great winner. Great, one of the greatest winners in the history of baseball.
Okay.
Derek Jeter.
Okay. That's fine.
He was a great player, too, not just a winner.
No one's saying he wasn't a great player, but I understand why Patrick Ewing finished ahead of him. Anyhow, let's anoint our king, number 1.
Number 1. With the second pick in the first round of the 1981 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Lawrence Taylor, North Carolina.
Sims lines up on the right side. They've got King on the left side as a running back. Anderson looking in the end zone for a pass. He's looking for King. Intercepted. He's going to go down the right side. Lawrence Taylor to the 20, 30, down to the 40. He might go all the way. He's going to go in. There's a flag down. But he's going the length of the football field into the end zone. There is a flag down. And Taylor's going to have to come back. It's not coming back. It's not coming back. They waved it off. Hot dog.
Hot dog. Are we all good with LT being our king?
Dude, there's not even a question. He's the best player drafted by the New York Giants in their history. And he's just, he changed the game. We all know it. And I believe in that game, that specific game, Detroit. Didn't he have a separated shoulder or something? I remember him being hurt in that game, and he helped set up or scored every point that the Giants scored in that game.
Yeah,
it was a tight game.
Yeah.
It was like a 10-9 game or something like that.
I was 6 years old, but yeah.
I don't remember. But I remember the lure of one of those Detroit Lions game where LT basically did everything.
Yeah, this is one of those things where I know we fight over different things, like fighting over Eli Manning being a draft pick.
This one's impossible to fight about.
Fighting over Ewing versus Jeter.
Can't fight over this one.
I don't think one can fight over this. Lawrence Taylor, say what you want about him off the field. Let's talk about on the field, because that's what this is about. On the field, Lawrence Taylor may have been the most dominant player in the history of New York sports. That is who he is. And so I think when you compile a list like this, I think the fans got it right.
Uh-huh.
I think that the committee of dignitaries got it right.
Good job, Joe.
Now,
Meningo.
speaking of the committee of dignitaries, I have just been handed a note that I'm very surprised about concerning the Patrick Ewing, Derek Jeter debate. I have been told that it was actually split, that the fans went one way and the dignitaries went another way.
Interesting.
And that the fans won out because they wanted Ewing ahead of Derek Jeter.
So that's Nick's recency bias.
Recency bias?
No, that Nick fans are all in a stir about feeling in their feels about the 90s Nick.
They're taken back to 94.
So they were voting at the same time to get in charge of the playoffs.
Okay, here's why you're so full of crap.
I mean,
the voting was 2 weeks ago when the Yankees were dudes and dogs too. And Yankee fans were pumped up. And Knicks fans, sure, they're pumped up as well.
I would bet that the enthusiasm for the Knicks was higher than the Yankees. At the Yankees beginning of the season, Knicks driving towards the postseason.
Yeah, but I don't even think that has anything to do with why people voted for him. I think the reason why people voted for Patrick Ewing and appreciate Patrick Ewing, and by the way, you guys can say this is unfair, but I think this is a part of it, is I think looking back on history, they realize how important he was. They realize that the 90s Knicks, which so many people talk glowingly about, doesn't exist without Patrick Ewing. They don't exist. He was the guy. Mm-hmm. And that pick, whether lucky or not, whether fixed or not, was one of the most consequential picks in the history of New York sports.
Do you think anybody will ever tell us if it was actually fixed?
No, I think that
somebody on their deathbed is going to say, you know what? The ball was frozen.
No, David Stern never told us, and he ain't around anymore.
Yeah, but it had to be somebody else.
Nah, he's the guy.
If it was fixed, it wasn't just David Stern, right? It had to be more than one person. It's not like he was putting the balls in the whatever, the lottery.
Nah, he was the czar. He was the guy.
But somebody stuck the envelope in a freezer.
Exactly. Somebody had to do it.
If it hasn't come out yet, do you ever think it will? Don't you think it's one of those secrets that just die?
No, because it's not that long ago. I mean, it is, but it isn't.
It's starting to get there, man.
Patrick Ewing's what, 60? So it's not like Patrick Ewing is getting ready to, whatever, go into retirement and do nothing, sit on his couch and read the paper all day. Right? It's Patrick Ewing's still youngish.
It's one of those things where, let's say the conspiracy came out and it was confirmed. Well, it doesn't matter. It's one of those things where it's already happened.
Yeah, but don't you just want to know?
No. I think sometimes the mystery is better than the result.
The assumption. You just assume that it's real.
I just, it's one of those things where all these years later, it doesn't matter. Like, it just doesn't even really matter anymore.
Yeah.
I think overall, the committee and the fans, and I repeat, I had nothing to do with this. I didn't rank this. So every time Sean gets upset, understand it ain't at me. I think for the most part, they did a really, really good job. I think they got it right. I think Lawrence Taylor should be that consensus greatest draft pick of the last 50 years.
Yeah.
I think that one's easy. I think that's an easy one. And I understand Ewing over Jeter. I really do. I think you're just being biased, Sean.
Talking about a 5-time world champion, the Yankee captain drafted here.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ewing, it's not even a disrespect.
No, it is disrespectful.
We're talking about 5 championships versus no championships, and the star and catalyst of all of them is Derek freaking Jeter.
You are being disrespectful because I'm not a Yankee fan, nor am I a Knicks fan. So maybe I'm sort of qualified, right? I have no emotions to either guy. And I'm just telling you, you're shortchanging the importance of Patrick Ewing.
If you're flip-flopping him 1 and going 2 or 3, it's not shortchanging it. Think about what this list has done over the last couple of weeks. It has told us that David Wright is better than Don Mattingly, that Patrick Ewing is more important than Derek freaking Jeter, and Andy Pettit drafted in the 74th round doesn't belong on the list. This list reeks of Yankee hatred.
Yankee hatred?
No team over the last 50 years has given us more to cheer about than the New York Yankees.
The people.
And we basically pulled down the pants and did a you-know-what on it.
Stop it. The guy was 3rd overall. He did well. I'm sure if Jeter was out there right now, he'd appreciate where he finished.
But you see where the arguments went? Guys who didn't win championships, we use that against them in their ranking, and yet we're not counting that for Ewing and putting him over Derek Jeter.
No. Here's your problem, okay? Marty Brodeur is better than Henrik Lundqvist. He didn't need 3 Stanley Cups to have him finish ahead of Henrik. If
Lundqvist is on the Devil teams or those traps, what is it?
Well, he wasn't on those Devil teams with that trap.
And
by the way,
Ewing wasn't on the Yankees.
And Howie Rose, who I think you trust, and by the way, a Ranger fan, said it, stop with the neutral zone trap. You still have to block the shots. Like Marty Brodeur,
Forget
it
it.
was a
Forget
better
that.
player than Henrik Lundqvist. Get over it, dude.
So then why isn't Brodeur ahead of Ewing then? Because Ewing and Lundqvist are the same player to their sport.
I can't answer why that.
Because Patrick Ewing was the face of an entire franchise for a generation. In a generation.
A generation.
So
Maybe
was
even
Don
longer.
Mattingly.
Well, stop. You're going all over the place. One at a time.
Stop.
Don Mattingly has to buy a ticket to go to the Hall of Fame.
A generation?
For a lot, yes. You worked next to somebody from that generation for a long time.
It wasn't a great generation.
But Sean, he's not a Hall of Famer. I'm not trying to demote him or you or anyone else about that.
Talking about Mattingly.
I'm talking about Mattingly.
I'm not. By the
You're
way,
all over the place. You're arguing 18 different things.
My point is the arguments you're using for Ewing have been used to downgrade other people on the list. When you come down to simplifying it, Derek Jeter, 5-time world champion Yankee captain of the same era, has to be above Patrick Ewing one slot. Has to.
I don't know. During his prime, he was the third best shortstop in the American League behind both Alex Rodriguez and Omar Garcia-Parra.
And Miguel Tejada and A-Rod.
Why don't you just add Omar Vizquel to that list?
Yeah, A-Rod was A-Rod, right?
Yeah, can we get back, though, to the Eli Manning crap? I mean, he wasn't drafted. I disagree with the committee on this one. And you guys, I get the sentiment of it. And this is the anniversary,
Okay,
so
but
happy anniversary. But Tiki,
it is.
come on.
20 years ago today.
Yeah.
Crazy as that
It's almost
sounds.
like this was done on purpose.
Right.
Who would plan something out like that?
Did the San Diego Chargers believe that Eli Manning was ever going to take a snap for them? The answer is no. They knew that he was not because Archie Manning told them so. And so they drafted Eli Manning on behalf of the New York Giants. And then the Giants, what if the Giants had taken, who was somebody else in that draft?
Well, they liked Ben Roethlisberger.
They were going to take Ben Roethlisberger.
Forget Ben.
They were not taking Philip
Robert
Rivers.
Gallery, the offensive lineman.
What if the Giants had taken Robert Gallery and then said, all right, now you want to trade us for this guy?
But I don't understand your point that because they
The Chargers
knew,
wanted a quarterback.
Yes.
And they wanted
Philip Rivers.
No,
they wanted Eli Manning. Once they knew they couldn't get him, their backup was Philip Rivers.
Right. So the Giants or the Chargers draft Eli Manning, right? And then they send him to the Giants. What if the Giants had taken Robert Gallery, right? Would that deal have happened?
No.
Exactly. So you know that they were in conjunction with each other.
Yeah, but
Tiki's right. That's why it is the Giants' pick. Yes.
The Giants, if they wanted Eli or they wanted Philip Rivers or they wanted Ben Roethlisberger, they could have easily taken anybody else that the Chargers didn't want. They worked together to draft by proxy for each other.
Okay.
So, yes, it's a technicality.
No, but here's where
Eli was drafted by the Giants.
Anyhow, joining us right now, the king himself. The man who earned it. This is the one thing none of us are debating because he is the greatest draft pick in New York sports history over the last 50 years. We present to you Lawrence Taylor.
How you guys doing? What's going on?
We're good, man.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Yeah, congratulations,
Thank you.
Lawrence.
On what?
Yeah, we'll tell you.
On what?
We'll tell you. So we did a top 20 draft picks in the history or in the last 50 years, but it could be history as well. Of all New York sports, the top draft picks, and you were voted number one.
Wow. Imagine that. Okay.
You say that like you expect to be number one.
So how you doing? Everything good?
Yeah, we're good, man.
If we told you, hey, Lawrence, we did this whole thing, and Derek Jeter was number one, and you were number two, would you basically say...
You talk about any sport?
Every New York athlete over the last 50 years. So there's some select company there. But if we told you Jeter was ahead of you, would you have been like, this is BS. Derek Jeter, my ass.
No, I would not. I would not have been mad. Absolutely not. Great player. Hey, how about Reggie Jackson? If you were listening, how about it's just so many basketball players, football players. I mean, I'm elated to own the. I own the city now. What you trying to tell me? I own the city.
That's right. Re-owning the city, Lawrence.